Good morning. It's 7:04 on this Friday, February 21st. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. Here we are on a Friday morning. It's cold out there, but the sun is shining. My car thermometer set 11 degrees, and I imagine that's about right. We welcome you to our program, and we, of course, each Friday welcome Wilson Bank and Trust. And today they have sent us Vince Rand, who is with us. Vince, good morning to you.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad to have you and to meet you, and you are now the office manager for the Gladeville branch and have the title of Assistant Vice President, I believe.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
We're glad to have you here. Tell us a little bit about you. I do know that you're originally from Mount Juliet and living in Lebanon now, but managing the Gladeville office. So
that's correct.
Take it from there.
Yeah, I'm one of the few. A lot of people don't live and born and raised here in Mount Juliet, but I'm born and raised here. Been with Wilson Bank and Trust for 8 years now. The new office manager of the Gladeville office on Stewart's Ferry Pike as of January of 2025, so this year.
Well, tell us how you got started, and is banking something you had maybe planned to do early on?
It wasn't necessarily something that I planned on, but I have a passion for helping people.
Okay. And the opportunity presented itself, so you kind of started at the bottom, worked your way up?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, tell us about your Gladeville branch there. Gladeville's a growing area. All of Wilson County is growing, some faster than others, but Gladeville has really grown a lot in the last 15, 20 years, and I think you have a pretty thriving office there.
That's correct. I have a fantastic group over at Gladeville. I had the opportunity to work Gladefest in September of last year, and it's just a community that sticks together, and I'm ready to grow that and have much success at Wilson Bank over in Gladeville.
Yeah, and you were mentioning before we went on the air here about your expo that you had, I guess that's a couple of weekends ago now.
That's correct.
You were part of that?
Yes, sir. We had booths set up, and we had hundreds of vendors there. One of the best turnouts. Usually we have a really good turnout there, and we have competitive rates for loans and CDs that we offer.
Well, of course, being the office manager at Gladeville, part of your job is lend money, and of course to run the office. But usually the office manager at any of the branch of Wilson Bank and Trust has his hand in loans considerably. So I guess you know about all the rates, all that's offered, and you can help anybody with whatever needs they have there.
Yes, absolutely. Whether you're looking for your first vehicle, or if you're looking to build or even buy your first home, I'll be the man for you.
And there is such a thing as a business loan. People get started in business and need money to get started. You do that as well, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Well, tell us about your staff there. How many people does it take to operate the Gladeville branch?
We have 6 staff members there. We have 4 tellers, and we have an assistant manager. We have a new assistant manager. She's been fantastic to work with and get started with, and with me being the 6th.
Yeah. Well, again, it's a growing area. I think the bank itself has grown considerably since it opened, and it's been a long time ago. We've had a branch in Gladeville for a long time. I wouldn't venture to guess how many years. I just remember when it all started in 1987. Anything else about Gladeville you want to tell us? Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do. You're a young guy. What sports a big thing with you?
Huge sports fan. I've actually born and raised really into sports. I played baseball, basketball, football, and I even played lacrosse.
All right. You have one of those. Your favorite?
Honestly, my favorite sport to watch is hockey. I'm a huge Nashville Predators fan. Never really played hockey, but my second would probably be football. Unfortunately, I'm a Tennessee Titans fan. They had the first pick in the draft coming up, so looking forward to that.
Here's the way we got to look at that. The only way to go is up. So
that's correct.
So the future's got to look better. We've carried the Titans here on the radio ever since they came to Nashville. So we're all somewhat Titans fans, I think, in this building here, and hoping the best for them. Well, again, Vince Rand. That's spelled R-A-N-D, your last name. Vince Rand, the Assistant Vice President, Office Manager for the Gladeville branch of Wilson Bank and Trust, with us here this morning. And we certainly wish you well and the members of your staff there as you help people in banking, everybody there in the Gladeville community. And thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Wilson
Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. They're still here, still independent, still committed to you. Excellence in banking since 1987. All right. Well, Vince, you can stick around or you can leave, whatever. This is your first time to come and do the commercial. And sometimes when we get through, people don't know whether they're supposed to sit there to the break or if they're ready to leave, and it's up to you. But I am ready to introduce my guest this morning. And Fridays during the state legislature, it's always wonderful to do our Friday Senate report, and it gives me the opportunity to introduce Senator Mark Bodie.
Good morning, Coleman. What a great day to be alive.
Isn't it nice to see the sun this morning?
And Coleman, I know it was cold yesterday and today, but we're going to be like warming up almost 10 degrees per day for the next few days. So this is going to be, I'm hoping, our welcome into spring almost.
Yes. I am looking forward even to next week. And as I was mentioning earlier, it's usually around the last week of February that we'll have a few days of warm weather and the sun shining, and it's kind of a prelude to spring getting here. It's not the arrival of spring, but we'll have maybe a week of warmer weather, and I think that's what we're predicting for next week. So I'm looking forward to that.
You and me both. So we're ready to go. And Coleman, I got to tell you, I've got more good news that's happening at the Capitol. I want to share.
All right.
As we go into this, especially after the break. I want people to know that what we can talk about is really something Tennessee can celebrate, and I'm anxious to get into that after the break. But let me hit a few things first.
Right, okay.
One of the bills that I'm actually running, and we're going to be putting it on notice, is going to be saying that nobody can take away our Constitution. You can't override, the governor can't override it, nobody can override the Constitution. And right now we've got it where when there's emergencies, sometimes we actually the governor's putting aside the Constitution because of that emergency. And I think that he should be able to have the right to put aside laws that we pass, you could put aside different things, but you can't put aside the basic fundamental foundational truth of what we have, and that's our Constitution. So I'm running that bill, and it actually came up in the year 2000 when it was passed to give the governor extra authority, and I want him to have the authority so when there are emergencies, he can handle it, but not to take away our Constitution. So I'm running that, and that's going to be a pretty big bill, but I think we have a good shot at putting that through this year.
Well, you apparently feel very strongly about that. Are there others on the other side who feel just as strongly in an opposite direction?
Yes, and Coleman, it's going to go down to something of who I am. I believe in basic things like the Bible. I'm a biblical person. My viewpoints are from there. I believe in the founding documents of the Constitution, and I believe that government has a limited role in our lives. And I'm down here to stand on those limited roles. I'm going to give you a great example of what happened in agriculture this week, and it affects Wilson County. We are losing farmland like crazy in Tennessee. It is horrible the rate that we're losing farmland, and we need to protect our farmlands and such. And we can there's different things that farmers can do. They can put it in trust. They can do different land trusts that's out there available right now. They can put restrictions on the deeds, but it does cost money to protect their farms and such like this. So there was a bill to say, hey, maybe the government should get involved in helping to do this. And I like the idea, but I don't think it's government's role to expand, to start a new program, a new department to help do that. Even though I want to help to save the farmlands, I'm going to say that's just not government's role. It's private property. It's what a private citizen should do. It's a great idea, but I voted against it because I'm thinking, I don't want to expand government anywhere. I just want to keep it within the bounds of the Constitution, and I try and stay that way. If we start inching into, well, it's a good idea, we should maybe let government do this, maybe let government help us with that, we get into like where we are in Washington, D.C. And so I stand on that line. So I try and stand on the Constitution, Governor. You cannot, even in an emergency, you can't suspend the Constitution. You can suspend a lot of laws that we pass. You can do certain things that way and help get us through issues, but don't suspend our Constitution.
You have a few colleagues who are as passionate or just about as passionate as you are in this direction.
There's a few, yes, and it is a line, and I understand. I'm on one side of this. There's great ideas, but I'm going to stand with saying, here's who I am, and I'm going to be very passionate about this is a role that I believe I'm supposed to be in, and I stay in that lane. But it doesn't mean it wasn't a good idea. And it passed, and it was going through, but I'm going to stand and say, if it's not a constitutional idea that the government should be doing, I'm probably going to be against it, even if it's a good idea. But so that's happening. And then another bill that I'm doing is prison oversight. And I'm going to tell you that in Tennessee, we've got to make sure that the prisoners, when they're sentenced, that they literally are going to do the time that they're supposed to do. But they got to be having it where they're done in a humane way. And I think we've got some issues, especially around this area, in what we can do to make sure the prisoners and how the prisons are being run properly. So we're going to put a little bit of oversight in that. And that is a lane, because that is something the government does do, and that is to oversee the prisons.
Okay, Senator Mark Pody is here. It's our Friday Senate Report. We're going to take a break, and more coming up on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by our friends at Absolute Kubota. They'll help you rent the right tool for the job. The Kubota Orange Rental Program makes it easy to rent the right equipment. Stop by Absolute Kubota, check out the U35 excavator or the SVL 75 compact track loader. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Starting to build again with a little bit more volume on I-40 as you come westbound through the Mount Juliet area, leaving Wilson County, headed on into Hermitage. 24 is trying to load up with a little bit more volume. 24 eastbound there at White Creek Pike at the Jolton area, and also on 24 west coming in from Murfreesboro and Rutherford County up through Antioch. Hey, Princess Hot Chicken has new items on the menu. Check them out this weekend. Order online at princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
It's tax time, and Cars Unlimited Tax Service is locally owned and has 33 years of experience in preparing taxes. They do upfront loans of $250 to $6,000. They're also an authorized IRS e-file provider. Call 615-449-2955 or stop by 1006 West Main Street in Lebanon. Cars Unlimited Tax Service stands ready to help you prepare your taxes.
1.5 seconds left, no timeouts. Here's your season. Negron gives it to Bird. Bird for the win. It's gone. He did it. College Hoops is back, and so is Cumberland University on the radio. Join me, John Boyce, in the booth for every Mid-South Conference game this regular and postseason for both men's and women's Phoenix basketball. Conference games are every Thursday starting at 5:30 and every Saturday starting at 1 o'clock. Phoenix basketball is right here on 98.9. Cumberland's a winner.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Our Friday Senate Report with Senator Mark Pody. All right, you're kind of leading the way this morning, and I'm deferring to the way you want to do this because you're telling the story. And,
okay, Coleman, I'm telling you, I got what I believe is really, really good news for Tennessee. And I want to talk about education. And, you know, if we go back about 15 years ago, and Tennessee was one of the worst educating areas in the nation. You know, literally in 2009, we ranked 38th in third grade reading. If we look at our fourth grade math, we were 45th. Our eighth grade reading, we were 34th. Eighth grade math, we were 42nd. We were just way on the bottom of everything. Now, 15 years later, this report just came out, and this is by what they call NAEP. This is a national reporting, so it's not something Tennessee does. This is independent. It's all across all states, okay, and just compares where each state is. And something's happened for the first time, 2024, that I think that we should really celebrate. And I'm going to tell you, it's our hardworking teachers that have done this. You know, I can't say it's stuff that we've done everywhere, but the teachers have turned this around. Right now, 2024, in third or fourth grade reading, we went from 38th to 24th. We are in the top half of the nation. Our fourth grade math, 15 years ago, we were 45th. We are now 13th in the nation. Coleman, that is huge, absolutely huge difference. Our 8th grade reading, we were 34th. We are now 21st in the nation. 8th grade math, we were 42nd 15 years ago. We are 20th. We are now in the top half in every one of those 4 categories. We've never been there before. We have made huge strides in education. And I just got to shout out to our teachers, shout out to what's going on. We're one of the fastest improving educating states in the nation. And it's not just one year after year. We're doing this. And I'm going to tell you, part of it is even our school board members, like Beth Myers, she's down at the Capitol all the time. She sits in education meetings and talks to them. Yesterday, I had Greg Coleman, and he's one of our school board members. And he said, Senator, I got questions. And so I brought the State Board of Education in. I brought the Department of Education. I brought the Textbook Commission in. And so we had a whole room crowded in so he could be sitting there listening and asking questions, diving in. What does this mean? How does it go? I'm going to be meeting with Joe Padilla, tomorrow. It's like they're so involved in what they can do. And it's just amazing how passionate our school board members are trying to say, we want to dig in, we want to find out what we can do to keep Wilson County. Tennessee's getting better. They want Wilson County to be the best and leading in the state. So this is like really good news that's going on for Wilson County in the state of Tennessee. And I can't change these reports. This is flat out the facts.
I'm glad to hear that.
So yeah, I am so thrilled with this. And this is the time that we could be celebrating, Coleman. I mean, there's so many times things are going wrong. This is like, wow. I think this is across the board in Tennessee. This is like huge news for us to say our education system has really turned around the last 15 years, and we can be proud of where we are.
And we're not going to sit and rest on our laurels, so we're going to plod along and try to continue to get even better and go higher.
Exactly. And so, I'm going to tell you, our starting salary for teachers, is going to be at the $50,000 range. It won't be this year, but it's coming up the next year. That's already in the budget. Right now I think it's going to be $47,000. They did more bonus for all the teachers. They've got more raises coming in. We're trying to make sure that their pensions are fully funded. So I think we're trying to really make a difference, and the results are there. They're showing what they're doing and so forth. So I think it's been a collaborative effort of a lot of people working in. I do got to shout out to the FFA. They came down. It was FFA Day on the Hill, and those are great students. Okay, they stand out. They wear their blue jackets, and I got to tour with some of them this week.
That's one of the things that hasn't changed much over the years. I think they still look pretty much like they did 50, 60 years ago.
Well, that's a program, and when we were in, and you talk to the kids, they're willing to say, I want to. They're like Boy Scouts. I'm willing to say, I'm going to invest my time a little bit. I want to be a better than average student. I want to be a better than average citizen. I want to know more, learn more about civics. I want to do what's right. I want to help be the person that stands out in the community that says, I'm here to make sure there's something else. It's not just for me, but I want to help take care of others in the community as well. So I just enjoy groups when they come down like that. When they're not there for anything for themselves. They're there to learn, to be a better citizen, and to go forward. So I just really enjoy when they come down.
Good. What else you got?
So Coleman, if we were looking at this as a football game, okay, I'd say that we're well into the second quarter. Okay, we're not at halftime yet, but we are well into this session, and things are extremely busy. I got my new assistant's going to be actually full-time starting Monday, so we'll get caught up on my emails. We'll get caught up on my phone calls. I promise I'm getting it better. When I asked, I had an intern in there yesterday, and I said, so how many emails behind are we? She said, we're just almost to the 800 number. Okay, so that's like, I'm still 800 emails behind, but we're getting there. So we were literally in the thousands. So we're working it down to get caught up that way.
Well, no doubt you missed Debbie, but at least you've got somebody now that's sitting there that's going to go go to work, and things are going to be looking up.
That's exactly right. And it'll take them time to get their feet on the ground and get trained and so forth. But we're excited about that happening. And this is going to be a good year for Tennessee. I am so thrilled with a lot of things. Last week I was talking about the budget was a good budget. This year I'm talking about... I'm on education, and when I was seeing this education and the results, and they're giving this report, and it came from an organization called SCORE, and that was from Bill Frist, Senator Frist, and just to hear the progress that we made in Tennessee. And, sometimes we used to be, always on the bottom in education, or fighting for Mississippi, what ranks we're going to be. But we're competing, and we're in the top half. I mean, this is a type of news that we want to be celebrating. We did... talk a little bit about the Prison Oversight Board, okay? And Coleman, this is a serious issue. And I'm going to tell you, for Representative Clark Boyd, Representative Susan Lynn, and myself, we are passionately involved in this. And we want to be making sure that what's been going on in our prisons, especially here locally, but across the state, is going to be addressed and not just kicked down the road. So we are very, very involved in watching this. There is a federal investigation.
Does that start with the governor? Does it start with who heads up the Department of Corrections or whatever?
Yes, it does.
I'm not trying to say to point our finger to blame somebody, but that old saying about the buck stops here, and I'm wondering about that.
So it is the appointment of the governor. And so it is up to the governor to put a commissioner in, and he's replaced the commissioner, so he's only been there for a couple of years now. But it's not just who the commissioner is. There's got to be the whole team in there of what's going on and how things are working. We did create some oversight board a little bit last year, and we want to give them more authority, more investigative power, and a little bit more teeth that they can do to hold some people accountable. There's things going on in our prisons that shouldn't be, and I want to make sure if somebody goes to prison, they're going to be doing their time. I'm not trying to find ways for them to get out. I want to make sure that they're doing their time, and I'm not looking for color TVs in every prison. But what I am saying is they need to be treated in a humane, safe fashion. They're human beings, and they need to be safe in there as well. We got to make sure that the drugs come out of these prisons, that they don't need cell phones in these prisons, they don't need weapons in these prisons. And I think we got the technology that we can do more to prevent that. I do know when I was watching one of the last things, they're talking about drones going over prisons right now, and literally they'll fly a drone over and drop something, and it's hard to protect it. So you just picture that. You can literally stand just a short ways away, set off a drone, fly it in, and get a cell phone in there immediately. And unless somebody's watching for drones, they got it. So there's a lot of things that we've got to do to stop this. And I think that a new oversight board will help.
Well, one of the big questions probably is whether the prison should be run by the state, or you should have private management of this. And that seems to be the problem seem to be more with those that are privately run, privately managed.
Well, that's not totally correct, because we've got actually about 14 prisons, and we got 4 of them that are with Core Civic. We got 1 that's contracted with the government, with the state, 3 that are contracted with county. But the state's got oversight over all of these. And Core Civic is their training program out of Trousdale County, and they bring a lot of people in from across the nation to actually train there. So people will come in on a part-time basis and saying, hey, I'm just going to do my training. Well, if I got brand new guards there that are just training, they don't even know themselves, and they're kind of dumping them in Trousdale. We've got a whole list of things that we need to do, and we got to be looking at the Core Civic up in Trousdale to see how Turner Center can be turned around as well.
Well, we're about to run out of time, but do you feel optimistic that some good is going to happen here, and we're going to get at least make some progress in this area?
Well, I'm going to tell you the delegation that we have between Clark Boyd, Susan Lynn, and myself. We are formally fighting and working hard to make a difference this year, to make some changes immediately. We don't want something going on for some study program for 2 years from now. We want changes now.
Okay, got about a minute and a half. What's coming up this next week?
All right, so We're going to be on budget, and I'm going to tell you, this is the first time that I've gotten my letter from all the departments or committees, and it's going to say, this was from the Commerce Committee. It said, you got to have your bills on notice by March 11th, or they won't be heard this year. So as we're talking and we're starting to get to halftime, whatever, we're working hard to get everything we've got out there to make sure that they're going to be on notice so we can get them heard this year, or it's going to roll into next year. The money that we're looking at, we watch this week by week and month by month. It is going to be the same, so we're not expecting any ups or downs. We're working hard with the federal government, and there's so many changes going on, and with the new administration, to see if there are going to be block grants coming down, because if there's going to be block granted, for example, for education or other departments, what we can do to make sure we're ready for them. And we're trying to make sure that that groundwork is ready. I've actually reached out to RFK to Kennedy, and to see some of the health things that he's going to be changing, to see what we should do to make sure Tennessee's ready to be working with that. And so we're actually in dialogue. So I've actually had some conversations this way, and I've invited him down to come talk to us, but he's absolutely covered up there. But we're trying to work some things that way to make sure the things that they're doing on the federal government, Tennessee's going to be in line with it, and which is way different than we've ever been, because I've always said we're going to stop whatever's happening in Washington, D.C., not let it in. But if they're cutting, if they're getting us more money in block grants without the rules and regulations, I want to be absolutely looking into that.
Okay. Well, that's a good place to stop, and it is 7:30. Senator, thanks so much. We'll see you next Friday.
Thank you, Coleman.
Senator Mark Pody, our Friday Senate Report, and Part 1 of Coleman and Company. Keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford. Get a battery installed in most vehicles. $199.95. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still working with a couple of accidents out here. It's starting to pick up again here in the last few minutes. 24 westbound up through the Antioch area coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. I-40 out in Dixon County has started to build there eastbound, passing Highway 46, headed on over towards Kingston Springs. Whether you need a new roof repair, roof inspection, you need independent roofing specialists. Check out irsroofs.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
At Wilson Bank & Trust, we're now offering exclusive checking and savings accounts designed to benefit our hometown heroes, including active duty military, veterans, and first responders such as law enforcement, firefighters, and EMS workers. At Wilson Bank & Trust, we recognize the commitment and sacrifices these families make to serve our country and communities. Thank you for your service. Visit one of our local offices to get started today, or learn more at wilsonbank.com/military. Member FDIC.
Hey, Medina, here comes the sun. Spring is just around the corner.
Call us and we can come over and tell you what your home is worth in this market, and it's free.
Yes, free and no obligation. It's time to get ready for the spring buyers. Inventory is low. We have buyers who need listings.
Here comes the sun. And remember, don't make a move without us.
Call Judy Cox or Medina Himmentoller at Exit Rocky Top Realty. C&D Team, 443-3130.
It's all right.
We'll have mostly sunny skies today, still very cold, highs in the mid-30s. Clear tonight, lows around 15, and then partly cloudy and a little bit warmer for Saturday, highs in the mid-40s. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your severe view forecast, I'm Storm Specialist Drew Richards.
We welcome you to Part 2 of Coleman and Company. It's a Friday morning. Fridays at this time, we feature the C&D team of Exit Rocky Top Realty, and we've got two wonderful people with us this morning. Miss Judy, good morning to you.
Good morning.
And Mike Cox is here. Mike, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
All right. Well, we always tell everybody that you're located at 1330 West Main in Lebanon. Great people, great service, people you can trust. And I guess the first thing we want to know, really, I think I know, but for our audience to know about Miss Medina. So
she's doing a lot better. She got the kidney stone supposedly all out this time for the third time, and she's been resting. She was planning on coming this morning. I said, no, you stay home this morning. So I was expecting her to drive up at any minute, thinking, not listening, because she says, no, I need to get back to the radio. I said, you will be fine. Papa's going to come and take your place, and you'll be fine. But she's feeling a lot better.
Good report. We're glad to hear that. And Medina, we miss you, but you did right. Staying home, get well, and we'll maybe see you next week.
That's right.
Mike, what's going on with you?
I'm just kind of filling in for Medina right lately.
Well, it's always good to see you. You don't do some of the things you used to do with C&D, but you're still part of it. You know what's going on, and you can still be a handyman if you need to be.
Yep, that's what I do. I put up signs, whatever.
Yeah. You got something. You got a lecture for us this morning.
Well, it's not really a lecture. I was just thinking last night how technology has changed since I started in real estate. When we first started, if you listed a house, you got the key to the house and kept it at the office. And then when somebody wanted to show a house, the agent had to come to your office, pick the key up, go show the house, and bring the key back. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the agent would have 2 or 3 houses to show. Well, by the time they got back, somebody else is sitting there, another agent's waiting in the office for the key to get back. And I'm thinking how we've come a long way with technology, because now it went through the phase where you put the combination lock boxes on, and that with our E&O insurance that we have to carry, there was some dangers with that because people would pass the code around, and the key to somebody's house is in that lock box. So now we have the central lock boxes where they're locked, the key's locked up, the box is at the front door, and now we used to have a little card you stuck in there, the agent did. Well, now it's all done by cell phone. You walk up and you have an app and it opens the door. But the good thing about those boxes, it tells us on the computer what time the agent went into the house, how long they stayed, what time they came out, and when they locked that door up. So that lets us know when they've come and gone, and we can call the owner and say, you can come back home now, they're gone. And then it just lets us know what agent, because when that agent opens that door, that name comes up. Uh-huh. And that way, if they told us they're showing it, but they're saying, oh, just let the customer go look, I'm not going to go with them. Oh, no. You're always supposed to have an agent with you when you look at a home.
Things have changed.
We require. So the technology's done well with that. And also, thinking when you're showing a home, you got to be careful. Everybody's got a camera now. Wherever you go, you're being recorded. So you might as well, no matter what you're doing, somebody's looking at you. And people have cameras, and a lot of times you don't know it, and you're walking through the house looking, and you're making all kinds of comments. Agents and the buyers that are like, oh, why would they do this color, or why would they do that? And so you got to be mindful what you say when you're in that home, because they're probably watching you and listening to you.
You remind people of that usually when
I always tell them before we get out of the car, do not say anything. And even when they get out in the yard, they're being, cameras outside now. So, and they pick up your voices. So we try to tell people, don't talk about stuff like that. Wait till we get back to the office. In the same way with sellers, they can say things when to the buyers, if they're there, we try to tell them not to be there. They'll say things that they don't need to be saying. That comes back to bite them later. So technology has come a long way. A lot of it's good, a lot of it's bad. We got GPSs now. We can find houses easy. We're used to, we got the map out the night before and tried to map out our route. And half the time, the new routes were not even on the map yet. And it's the worst thing to have people in your car and you're driving around and you have no idea where you're going. So, and you're trying to look like you know where you're going. And so you get in a subdivision, you turn around and go, oh, I just want you to see the other cul-de-sac. So it's the kind of thing technology's helped a lot. So I'm going to let him talk a little bit more.
All right, tell us more, Mike.
Well, Coleman, it has come a long way since my days. I come from the day of a one-page contract. I shook your hand today, and we went down to the bank and closed it. Uh-huh. But today, that can never happen the way things are. They have to make sure that they come out and see what hole out of the ground you dug the money up and where the money come from and everything. So,
well, part of those changes, I have an idea, came about because of some abuse and some reckless business practices that were employed by some people.
Yeah. And I've had a couple of instances in my career where people were frauding their own companies. And they go to the back car, open it up, and you're putting a $30,000 addition on, and they got all green bills, and you're like, I don't think so. mean, so.
Well, you, how would you describe yourself now? Are you semi-retired yet?
Yeah, I'd say I'm semi-retired. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you still know what's going on, and you're there to offer advice and even to say, hey, this ought to be done a different way if need to be said.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always there. Ever what we need, he's there and checking on us and making sure everything's going like it should. But
well, we don't talk about your location much, but you really do have a good location there, 1330 West Main,
it's easy to get to, and we're right there. And sometimes people don't even remember even when we changed to Exit and kept the C&D team. A lot of people don't even, if you ask them, they don't even know who you work with. It's not about that. It's about the person, and they remember you sell real estate. And that location, that's where they come to.
Yeah.
And they might not know the name of the place. They just know that's where you go. And we've had the same phone number all these years also. But
443-3130.
Yes.
Well, we're about to run out of time.
Yeah.
Any listings?
Yeah, a couple of them. We've got one over at Cedar Station, over behind Al's Food City. It's a condo, so if you're wanting to downsize and you want a condo, and it's got a bedroom upstairs. It's got 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. It has one of those chair lifts already installed on the chair on the stairs, and you can. It's going to stay with the house, so you could already have that fixed for you. But it's great. It's got a screened-in back porch. It's a smart home, and it's for $319,900, which is a great price for 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and then in a good location. And then we've got a new villa over in Five Oaks, and it's $519,900, and it's 3 bedrooms and 3 full baths with screened-in porch. But we've got we got a new listing coming in Gallatin next week. It's another condo. I think we've got maybe 10 condos right now and villas, so we've got several of those. We've got a family farm they're going to be selling. It's in Covington, Tennessee, which is almost to Memphis, and it's 25 acres. We'll be putting that one on the market next week. We've got several coming that's going to be putting on the market here in the springtime, so just give us a call. We're ready to list your house, and buyers are starting to get qualified. The bankers are telling us they're getting out and getting qualified, so we want to make sure that you get in there, and we'll be glad to help you.
All right. Mike, Judy Cox, thanks for being with us. Medina, we missed you, but I think we've done a good job except for one last thing, and I guess I can say that.
That we'll let you do it.
Don't make a move without us.
You did good.
See y'all next week. Have a good one. All right, we're about 19 minutes before 8 o'clock, and Jackie Murphy, our Register of Deeds, is going to be my guest here for part 2 of Coleman & Company, and she has a special reason for being with us this morning, which we'll get to, but Jackie, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
Is this how this came out? I saw you... I know where I saw you. It was at Jim Major's retirement party,
it was.
and you were telling me you would like to be on something you wanted to share with the people, and that's what you're here for today. And it's good to see you again.
Good to see you.
A little bit cold, but it's going to warm up next week.
The older I get, the worse I like the cold.
you and me both. That says it pretty well.
Well, I do have to go to the barn in the morning and bust ice and all that, so it's not really pleasurable, you know. 4:30 in the morning, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, you got some horses?
2 donkeys and a horse.
Yeah, okay. All right.
And they're babied quite, I can tell you that.
How long you been registered deeds?
Since 2018.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Of course, you replaced Bev Spickert. You had worked with him prior to that.
That's correct.
No doubt know the office front and back, upside and down, and all of that. But it's a necessary office that we have here, and it's of course it's very necessary that it's run properly.
Correct.
And I think we've had a great history of registers of deeds over the years here, and I think you enjoy what you're doing. And,
I do.
And there's quite a responsibility on your shoulders, but you inherited a good operation, and you probably made some maybe minor changes or whatever, but it seemed like a well-oiled machine, that office.
It is. I love it. I have a great staff. And, when I went in, of course, unpredictably, the plat machine went down on me. So made me look like I was wanting to spend money right off the bat, but it was a necessary thing. So we did upgrade computers, servers, and plat machines.
Mm-hmm.
So we should be in good shape.
Well, your purpose for being here this morning.
Yes, sir. Most people probably won't know what I've been talking about, but I wanted to clear the air. And so we had
And that's always a good thing.
Clear the air. We're on the air, so we're going to clear the air, right? So we had our 2024 audit, and we had a new auditor, a young lady by the name of Bailey Martin, and she wrote us up for a finding, and I couldn't believe it, but so I wanted to clear the air because the Wilson Post called me wanting my response, and so I know there's people out there questioning, and I want to assure the people of the county that I have never been in a deficit or an overdraft of any sort. We have been to the penny every month. So let me explain. The registers collect money through e-files every day. We have 6 e-file vendors. The documents come in, we receipt them. After 4 o'clock, the money is wired to our account. So at 4 o'clock, which was this day, 6/28 of 24, it was the end of the month, which was the end of the quarter, which was the end of the fiscal year.
Mm-hmm.
And we took in a $52 million deed, which accumulated $195,000 worth of taxes. Well, at 4 o'clock, on paper, our books looked like a deficit. But after 4 o'clock, a few hours later, it was in our bank. So the bank was never short. And so I explained it to the audit lady, and she didn't understand how the registers done the e-files and how that came to be. She said, why can't they just submit the money after each transaction? I said, do you know how many transactions that could be? That could be up to 200 deposits in a day. They're not going to do that. They're going to do it after 4 o'clock, straight into your bank account. That's how it's been done for the beginning. And so she would not change her mind. And I asked, if you're going to have a finding on me, then what would you recommend me do? And she says, I don't know. So, you know, in my reality, we've done this protocol from the beginning of e-files. I don't believe she understands how we would work. And so I just want to assure the people of Wilson County, these books have never been short. I'm going to tell you, I take care of these books better than I do my own personal account. And so I have a lady in the office that backs me up on my end of month and quarter and physical. And she couldn't believe it. And she asked, what do we do? I said, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to close the books at 4 o'clock, post the credit card fees, and I'm going to come in at 6 o'clock the next morning and start posting money and writing the state checks, the county checks. That's the only thing I know we can do. And so that's what we're doing. You know, I go in at 6 every morning. I move the money from the bank account to the cash journal. We're good, Coleman. It's ridiculous. I don't know how else to explain it. I have sent explanations to all county commissioners, Watertown mayor and the county mayor and the finance department, and even folks on the audit committee to explain what happened. And so they look at me like, yeah, we get it. And so I'm like, well, I just want everybody to know that I'm not taking money or anything, not even a cent. I don't even let my girls, when somebody comes in and they've helped somebody really good and they want to buy them lunch or tip them or whatever, no, we don't accept anything of that nature. That is against ethics. And so I'm very adamant on these books. And my backup girl, Sue Shelton, will tell you the same.
I don't totally understand this, but I sort of do, and I appreciate you being open with us.
Yeah.
And we're a little bit past time for a break, so let's do that. Jackie Murphy, our Register of Deeds, and more coming up on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Let's see what's happening on the roadways thanks to Bates Ford. Lifetime brake pad guarantee with the purchase of a brake service. Replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns the vehicle. Bates Ford, 1780 Franklin Road. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's trying to load up with a little bit more volume on 65 and through Brentwood, Franklin, coming up from Williamson County into South Nashville. Still moving 24 through the Antioch area in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. There's still some dangerous driving conditions on some of these back roads and side streets. Give yourself a little bit of extra time. Hey, when you need dependable towing here in Middle Tennessee, you need STR Towing and Recovery. You can check them out at strtow.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hi, Cumberland baseball fans. I'm Will Graves, and I'm a senior pitcher from Rockville, Tennessee. We hit the road this week with non-conference games. We traveled to Spartanburg, South Carolina for a weekend series versus Spartanburg Methodist. Hear every pitch on the radio at 1490 AM or 98.3 FM and online at WANTFM.com and GoCumberlandAthletics.com. Check the Cumberland website for possible weather-related scheduling changes. We appreciate your support, and always remember, go Phoenix.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is in a new location, 1746 West Main in Lebanon, across from Sports Village. Gregory Dental Group offers cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs.
No insurance? No problem. Call about the discount plan. Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322.
We thank you for joining us, and we're so glad to see the sun shining and it warming up here. And next week's going to be nice. The last week of February going to be a better weekend than it's been a week, I think. And Jackie Murphy's with us, our Register of Deeds. You kind of agree with that too, don't you?
Hallelujah.
The older, and you've said it well this morning. Yeah, but the older I get, the more I hate cold weather.
Me too. I don't know how to explain it.
and there's a lot of these cold mornings when I would just love to roll over and not come out here, but I love my job too.
That's correct.
Love getting to see the different people every week, our regulars, and we don't have you all the time, but somebody, our Register of Deeds, even asks to be on, and I mean that's an honor to me to be asked to. Hey, well, we got something that's important. That's
well,
great.
Thank you. Thank you.
But to get back, it's pretty much a total black and white situation when you're dealing with money, and you either balance or you don't. It's kind of like English and math. English can have a lot of variances, let's say, or whatever, but math is the bottom line in the whole thing.
No gray area.
Right. And this, you just want people to understand you explained it really well here, but when you've got a great big transaction like you were talking about.
And it doesn't always happen every day, and it just happened to happen on the last day of the month, last day of the quarter, and the fiscal year. So it's accumulated several tax dollars. Mm-hmm. And at 4 o'clock, that money is wired to our account. So we was never in a deficit of any kind. And anybody who would like to come to the office and talk to me about it, I'd be glad to explain, show them bank accounts, whatever they need. I have nothing to hide, and I think highly of this job. And I just want people to keep the faith in me, because I plan on doing an excellent job to the best of my ability with good ethics.
Well, that's great. We did not get mail the last 2 days. We did not get the post. Was it in the post yesterday?
No, the lady at the post said it wasn't in the post. So I'm looking for next week. So, I don't know. After I've sent her my remarks and explanation, she might not think it's important enough to put in there. I don't know.
Well, anyway, just to set the record straight, everything is fine to Register of Deeds office. There's no discrepancy. It's all balanced.
Correct.
And it's kind of a matter of how one looks at it at what time of day.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
How many people in your office?
I've got 7 girls. Yes, sir.
Is that about what you started with?
I may have one more than your normal.
Okay. Well, now, as far as your office goes, when you took office, or even when you were working for Bev prior to being elected, compare that with now as far as how busy the transactions. Is there a lot more going on, more happening in a day than it did at that time?
Well, I can say this. A couple years ago, we were extremely busy. We would do anywhere from 225 documents a day. In the past year, we have slowed up to maybe some days it might be 78. We were tremendously busy yesterday because, we were off Monday.
Yeah.
And then we had a snow day.
Right.
And so we had quite a bit of e-files coming in. And so it just kind of depends on the day. I'm hoping things start getting busier. Realtors tell me they're working, but, the bottom line is, do I see it? So I hope we get a little bit busier, but we're still making the county money.
As far as technology goes, are you where you need to be? Is there more advanced computers or programs or whatever that you need, or to talk about that?
Well, we have a server that runs our entire system, and it was getting to be a little over 10 years old, and our business information system was telling us that they don't know if something happened that they could back everything up. So I did get a new server last year, and it's top of the line. And while I was at it, I went ahead and got all new computers because it was telling us that they wouldn't be able to back up everything by the old computers. So we've got all new computers, server. We should be in good shape. Like I say, we got that plat machine in 2019, and we've got 2 ProScan 3000s that we can do the film if we should need to. And so I think we're pretty good, Coleman.
You no doubt keep up, know a little bit about what's going on in other counties, maybe some of the other counties our size, ones that have a lot of transactions going and this sort of thing. How do we measure up, say, with the Rutherford County, Williamson County, maybe Sumner County, the faster growing part of Middle Tennessee?
Yeah, we're probably number 5 because Davidson County is tremendous. Williamson County is too. Rutherford County is quite busy as well, and Knox County is as well. Knox County. So, you talk about all these counties. We're at the top 10%.
Do all of you and your busier ones do pretty much the same sort of thing? Employ pretty much the same way of doing it, methods, the computers, all that.
Well, I have noticed that some counties, their register will have one person doing one job a day. That's what that individual does. My girls rotate. That way, if somebody is sick, out, whatever that means, then everybody knows the job. And I step in when I need to. I want to, but they don't want me to take their job sometimes. So I have things to do in the office as well. So,
but that lends to efficiency.
Yes, absolutely.
That reminds me on something in a similar way. My 2 youngest boys each had a paper route carrying a Lebanon Democrat years ago. And back then they didn't care till the afternoon after school, whatever. But my wife supervised them and had the papers rolled and ready when they got home from school. But she would make one of them do Route A this week, the other one Route B. They would switch the next week. So if one of them was sick, they knew the route and they could do it. Same principle.
To me, it's important because, look, we have, we rotate the girls for lunch times, and whoever's there when the others leave, they got to know everything because they're going to be doing it. So I see no reason why you shouldn't rotate. I mean, they need to be versatile. And so, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anything else that if a particular notes? We've got a couple of minutes here.
Yes, sir. I would like to say if anybody wants to come and visit me, Lord, I love it. Just come and visit and we'll sit around and chew the fat, I guess you could say. But I also want to say...
You do have a coffee machine, don't you?
Coleman, we don't. I don't like coffee.
Oh.
Yeah, we don't do coffee. But let me say this. I want to congratulate and welcome our newly appointed Wilson County trustee, Mr. Kenneth Hackett. Mm-hmm. Yesterday was his first day, and he's got some shoes to fill. And welcome aboard, neighbor. And I'm going to miss you, Mr. Buckwheat Majors. I'm going to miss you.
How close do you work with the trustee's office?
Quite a bit, because right now it's tax. Well, we've got 7 days to pay the taxes, something like that. People have questions on their bill. A lot of them come over, want to see if the transfers happened, etc. Something about a plat. We may take them down to the property assessor because that's where everything is assessed. And so all three offices, trustee, register, and the property assessor, we all three work together. Yeah. So, and we all have good relationships. So I'm really anxious to work with Mr. Hackett.
Good. Yeah. Well, we've come to the end of our time here this morning with Jackie Murphy, Register of Deeds. Thank you so much, and I think you've offered us a great explanation this morning. We appreciate being able to offer you the time, but it's always good to have you. And,
it's good to come.
Appreciate the good job you're doing, the good report, and we want everybody to have a safe and happy weekend and a warmer one, and looking forward to a warmer week next week.
That's right.
All right. Well, that's it for this Friday. Have a nice weekend, everybody, and until Monday, I wish you a fantastic day.